go. Recording is in progress, everybody. This is Clarissa Burt within the Limelight Media, and I have two extraordinary guests. They just happen to be married. I want to give you a little bit more information about them before I start asking them a couple of questions that I think you are going to want to know the answers to. Because how many times have we been in a relationship and fallen madly in love? I know I have, only to come to find that maybe once that glimmer, wears off a little bit, the person that you thought you were with is not the person that you were with. So we'll get a little deeper into that. But I do want to say I'm welcoming Carol and Terry Moss, who are relationship experts. And so who better than they to ask? Coaches, also mentors, and authors of books, or a couple of different books, I think, right? One is called In the Beginning, It Was Not So. And then the book that I have in hand, which is Whole You Before Two. And I'm going to just jump right into it with both of you. I know that Terry had a relationship, a marriage before Carol. Carol had a marriage before Terry. And then they found each other. And they said, you know what? We got a good thing going here. And why don't we teach other people what we know? Right? So
Pretty much.
does that set it up nice? Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that there is no perfection, but you can really get kind of close to it when you're paying attention and paying mind. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I think what's good with us is, and the reason why we wanted to write the book is because Terry and I outwardly are so different. He's an introvert and I'm an extrovert.
I know,
So,
Carol. I know. That.
Right.
if we can make it work for almost 20 years and successfully, very well, I love this guy here, that we should tell others what's the secret sauce
Yeah. Yeah.
to making
Yeah.
two different people
How
work.
about we start with the three keys to an emotionally thriving relationship? Let's start there.
Well, three keys to emotionally thriving relation or thriving relationship starts with you.
Mm.
So that individual person, each person,
Hmm.
really has to understand three things. One, uh, who am I?
Yeah.
We have to know who we are and like who we are,
Hmm.
understand our value and our worth,
Hmm.
and feel good about that. And then that allows us to live authentically in any space. So that's why it's whole you. Once you get whole, once you get healed and healthy and in tune with who I am and feel good about that,
Yeah.
that allows you to go forth into any relationship, marriage, friendship,
Yep.
family,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. And that's the first point that I know you know that is part of the three keys. And I think a lot of people either don't know that there's work to be done or afraid of the work to be done on themselves, of course, I intend. And
Mhm.
so, I think that more people really need to, excuse me if I do say so, Terry, I think it's more men than women that really do. It's been my experience that it's more my experience now. I'm just talking about more men than women that really need to step up and say, it's not a sissy thing to do. It's not an unmanly thing to do. And quite the opposite. It's quite the manly thing to do to work on your personal development, your self-improvement, and come a little bit more whole. Again, none of us are perfect, but a little bit more whole to a relationship before you take on that responsibility. Because I contend that from the moment you say "I love you" to someone, that you are responsible for their heart. They are too. Don't get me wrong, but it is a responsibility that you undertook by saying that.
Yes,
That is
yes.
absolutely so true. And I agree with you because I think within our men, they're taught differently.
Mhm.
They're taught to be providers.
Mhm.
So their heart is to ensure that everything is well when
Right.
it's a good guy. Everything is well. They can provide very well. But yet when it's time to get into that emotional part of it, that's where the struggle comes in.
Yeah, and I've always said that that's kind of a little it was a difference between the generations. There was a certain period of time, Carol, when men would look at their mothers. They were extremely traditional in the kitchen, didn't go to work. My grandmother didn't even get her driver's license until she was 65. And then they had that whole revolution and the feminist revolution. And now they're dealing with women that are completely different than their mothers. And I think that there was a gap there that they kind of got stuck on. Well, what do I do? Like, what's happening here? And I think a little bit of frustration happened there. And so, yeah, I think that you just have to, get up with the times, everybody. Stay with the time.
But here's the
Uh,
thing, though. You say the times. It's interesting, though, what times?
yes.
Because traditions change, cultures change, people change,
Yep.
society changes. And that's part of the problem is we're trying to keep up with those changes without getting in touch with
Yes.
who I really am, no matter what those are external changes
And
are.
I'm sure that in your ministry, you are addressing men and inviting them to step up to the plate. Am I correct?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And what is it that you are, what is it that seems to be a common denominator, if I may, with some of the gentlemen that you've spoken to? Is it fear? Is it is it unknowing? Is it not knowing what the next step to take is?
All of the above.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say, and I'll address the men, you can talk to the women because really it is both. I know we say men aren't as emotionally in tune, and I think that is a true statement. But if we say men are the only ones needing to kind of work on themselves,
Right.
that's
Oh, of course
not
not.
accurate.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, and so what happens, all those things you said, people haven't learned how to become emotionally whole with it because there's not a lot of conversation around that or teaching around that or examples of that in our history, in our past, in our families.
Absolutely.
And so there's the unknowing piece, but then there is, for instance, with men, when they don't know, it's hard to admit they don't know when they aren't sure of themselves.
Yes.
And so that fear of admitting that I don't know is what keeps many of us not speaking up and not stepping up and
Right.
not moving up.
Hmm.
And
Well,
so we say,
yeah, I wrote a book about self-esteem, and very frequently I talk about, the number one word in any of the work you're going to undertake is the courage to do it.
yeah,
Because it's not going to be fun, it's not always going to be easy, it's not always going to be pleasant, it's going to get some downright uncomfortable at times.
yes,
I think that, the motto of wanting to be a better person tomorrow than you are today is one that just kind of clicks. And so that's the thing that keeps even me hanging on, saying, no, no, today wasn't the greatest, tomorrow's going to be another day. And what can I do to make tomorrow a better day than today? So I
yeah,
work on that
yeah,
constantly as well. And I think that that's also something that is paramount, is that, we are a work in progress until the good Lord brings us home, right? I mean,
yes,
you
yes.
never get 100 on the test while you're here. It just
That's right. And that's not the goal. The
yeah,
goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to be whole, to be healed, to be a better me, to be in a better space, in a better
right.
place.
Yeah. So one of the questions that we had spoken about beforehand is why is emotional wholeness essential before we try to fix a relationship, right?
Mm.
Yes, yes. And it kind of goes to what we're saying that most people don't know how to do that. And so we go about it by trying to do things,
Mm.
trying to do, be better,
Right.
get better grades, get better at communicating, We work on all of these things that come from the outside,
Mm.
but we don't start with the inside.
Mhm.
So when we're doing relationships from the outside in, it's performance based.
Mm.
The better I perform, or the better I look,
Hmm.
the more I'm
Money I
accepted and
bring home, yeah.
appreciated, the
Hmm.
more money I bring home. But when we start from the inside, I got to fix me. And so that when I fix me, I carry me into the relationship. And that is a before the relationship because every relationship wants a whole me.
Hmm.
Right.
And
Exactly.
because we tend to work on based on what we see. I've gained a little weight. I need a diet. I need to fix my hair. I need to do something with my makeup. We tend to work on what we see. So we spend a lot of time on our outside, but
Yeah.
we do very little fixing what's on the inside, dealing with our hurt and pains,
Yeah.
dealing with our past. So
Yeah.
that's what makes it a little bit more difficult dealing with what's on and facing what's on the inside.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think that brings me to the next question, is why do successful, confident people still struggle in relationships? Kind of looks like they have everything from the outside, just like you two were saying, right? Look at it as kind of that outside kind of thing. But on the inside, they could, they could be crumbling, quite frankly.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
because I think too, once you become successful, you might you might have lack of empathy because you're successful. So then you're looking at it like, well, why can't someone else do? These are the steps that I have taken. How come this person cannot take those same steps?
Right.
And you sometimes look for perfection.
Yeah.
And there's no perfect person. And so therefore we may become a little bit more judgmental, and I think we might lack a little empathy because we have what we call arrived.
So what would be one compassionate first step that somebody could take this week? It's Monday. Let's get started.
Well, understanding that the steps that we've taken to get to where we are might not be as easy for the next person. So also communicating. I think sometimes by communicating is listening to someone, putting yourself in their shoes.
Exactly. And to know, Terry, that you're not walking this road alone. I think so many of us, feel like it's like we're coming up against this fire-breathing dragon, and it's going to be so difficult and so hard. I often talk about when we were kids, you remember we had 3 bookstores. It was Walden Books, Borders Books, and Barnes & Noble. And in the very, very back in the corner, there's a little section called self-help, which is where I lived. And it was my solace, my assistance, my support, my finding out why, about life. There was very little in the way of help back then. Today, there really is no excuse in the sense that groups, meetups, internet, the courses, classes, ministry, churches, there are all different ways of finding yourself, if we will, right?
Yes.
And so let's talk about the ministry part. We'll get back to the book in a second, but I'd love to hear about what a typical sermon might sound like. Not typical, it's not the right word, but you understand what I mean. Sure. What are you telling people, Carol?
So we are telling people that wholeness is not optional if you want to live the abundant life God has provided for you.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
And so we spend a lot of time helping people understand how to become whole
Right.
and how to enjoy relationships in a more intimate, connected way. And I don't mean intimate in terms of sexual, but
Right.
intimate because here's the thing, we all as human beings were created to be in relationships. We were made for relationships, vertical as well as horizontal.
Right. Right.
And when we don't understand how to do those relationships in a healthy, whole way, then we don't experience the closeness that relationship is supposed to bring.
Yeah.
And we see that in marriage relationships, business relationships, church relationships, where it really doesn't matter if people aren't understanding how to connect, then they don't connect. And then they're disappointed they're not connecting. And so then they isolate. And
There's a
so
lot of fear. I think there's a lot of fear involved in that too, right, Terry? A lot of fear
in connecting.
in connecting, in relationships, in intimacy, and taking a look at our past. I mean, you two, if you had stopped at your past, you wouldn't be where you are today.
Absolutely.
So getting over the past a lot of times for people is really hard. I'm kind of stuck in that place a little bit right now.
But we have to do the hard. But we have to do the hard.
But who tells us?
And that's the thing.
That's the thing. And because we don't feel so good about ourselves, it's hard for us to get into communities because we compare. Yeah. I'm not as good as this person, or I'm not as pretty as this person, or I'm not as thin as this person. And so therefore that leads us to isolate ourselves, and then we never grow. It's okay that we don't have it all together.
Yeah. And I speak to that frequently too, Carol. The book that I wrote is called The Self-Esteem Regime, just for the moment. So I talk to people about, the importance of personal development, self-improvement, self-esteem pretty much every day. And so I was wondering from you both as well, you have on page 38, you talk about developing a healthy sense of self-worth. And here we are. It's right there in your book, and you speak to it, and it's so true. That we have our own limiting beliefs, and if we think we can't, well, then we can't.
That's right.
I I love to use the analogy of the body because the body will function well when every part of it is functioning the way it was intended to be. And so when we look at ourselves like that and we love who we are based on the gifts that was given to us,
Yep.
and we accept that gift and not compare it with the other gifts, then we know our purpose and we function well.
Right. So what would you say that a change culturally, what would you change culturally, excuse me, if we embraced emotional wholeness? What would change generally or culturally?
Mm, we are all equal.
Yeah, I think when when we it's kind of hard to understand when we can really appreciate who we are
Mm,
and not have to compare ourselves with someone else's success or failures,
Right.
then we can learn how to recognize the embrace that can bring. In
and
other words,
freedom.
so instead of our insecurities pushing people away, our maturity can bring people closer. And when we bring people closer, and that's just not people who look like me, people who behave like me, but recognize that we're all individual human beings in this one human race. And if we can embrace the race, then we can change the outcome.
Carol, has he been behaving?
We're talking about, look, text me.
He's talking about behaving. I don't know. I'm just
All
asking.
right.
I love this. I
Throw
love
him
this.
under the bus.
I do the best I can with what I got.
On page 61, I love this quote, you guys. It's commitment isn't just about who you choose, it's about who you are when you choose them. God, that's
Yes.
brilliant. And that's what we've been talking
Yes.
about all along.
Yes.
One Flesh Ministries. Interesting, very interesting name. How did it come about?
So it came about when shortly after we got married, a year or so after we got married, and we were invited to do a marriage conference by this church who had experienced us, the leaders had experienced us individually, and they had asked us to come and speak to their church in a conference. And so we did. I was reluctant, and Carol pushed me. She said, "You can do this." I'm like, "I've never done this before. You can do it."
The cheerleader.
Go, Carol.
Exactly. And so we did it, and it was a great success. They want us to come back, and they shared us with other people. And so we came home and I said, if this is going to really be something, we should call ourselves something.
Yes.
And so what is that going to be? And then we're reading the scripture in Genesis 2:24, where God said, man and woman shall leave, or man shall leave woman, leave his mother and father
And clean.
and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. And I
Okay.
said, oh, that's great. That's it. One flesh. That's all what we're about, connecting
Right.
people and helping
Love
them to
it.
understand relationships. And there it is. One Flesh
There you go.
Ministries.
I love the book also, and I'm going to show it again. Whole You Before Two, everybody. It's how emotional wholeness transforms every relationship. I love that it's also a workbook.
Yes.
That that this isn't just a read, and that's what I say frequently about mine. This isn't a read, this is a do.
Yes.
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 So
Yeah.
I can't, I'm kind of done with books that I read, I've done that. I want to do, I really want to do, I want to learn, I want to, that self-betterment, again, the improvement part that we talk
Yeah.
about, because this
Yeah.
is a work in progress. It is a constant. It's not, I'm going to go to the class, do the test and get 100. Doesn't work that way, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Life doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
Certainly relationships don't work that way. One of you said something beforehand about how emotionally, as we're growing, it's hard. You never know what to keep up with one another. Sometimes you're going to be on different levels, right?
Yes.
So I think that a lot of times with love, that things can be literally unequal sometimes, and then who was it that was talking about, sometimes I come home from work and I'm exhausted and I only have 40 of energy. But you're going to have to take over the 60. So maybe you'll have to empty the dishwasher and clean the dishes or something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of that wiggle room of give and take with emotional intelligence as well.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
And that's the need for the emotional intelligence. So therefore, and that one flesh. So I understand. I understand you. So when you say that I am tired today and I need you to pick up the task, or sometimes with that emotional intelligence, you don't even need to say it. I just know it. I know it. And so now I understand the part that I need to play without feeling like I'm being neglected or rejected.
Sure.
Because I understand that you are who you are, and today is just not a good day. And so then it's not all about me.
Yeah.
Emotional immaturity makes you think that it's always all about you.
Right.
And so you can't
Exactly.
understand that side.
So in closing, I'm going to ask each of you a question, the same question, but I'd like to hear separate answers if you don't mind. And that is, up until now, and you can't say marriage and you can't say children, what would you say has been your crowning moment? Up until now, can't say my wife, can't say my kids, because that goes without saying. What would you say that in your lifetime has been your crowning moment?
My crowning moment. Okay, I will start. Leading up to now is something that we did last year. And my crowning moment is when I decided to join you to go through leadership college.
Oh, you stole my moment. No.
Yeah, go through leadership college because Terry is a teacher and he loves school and he loves to learn. I'm a hands-on person.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
hospitality. I'm serving. I love to stay busy. So when he suggested that I join him, when he decided to go to leadership college, I was like, oh, go ahead,
Yeah.
leader,
Yeah.
cheerleader, come back and tell me how it is. But I know that this prayer life that you have, then the spirit hit me like, I think your husband wants you to join him in leadership college. So I kind of wrestled with it, but then I became in agreement with it. And I am absolutely so proud of myself. Once I jumped into it, reading all the books, writing all the papers, I can sit here today with good pride of saying that I successfully
Well,
succeeded
there
through
she
leadership
is.
college.
There she is, everyone. Carol Moss. Yay!
Yeah.
Terry, you have such a calming energy, which is exactly what women like Carol and I need. We need that stability and that calm. Do we not, Carol? Am I speaking out of turn?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
There
I'm
you
his
go.
rah-rah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Imagine we both were like that.
yeah, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't
No,
work.
no,
I think
no.
it's the yin and the yang, right?
That's right. That's
Absolutely.
right. That's
Do
right.
you have a moment that's come in mind for you as a crowning moment, Terry?
So there have been a number of moments, but what if I told you that I still feel my crowning moment
Is yet to come.
is yet to come?
Mm.
I really believe that. There's been some good moments, and there were some good moments in 2025. There are good moments when we've traveled together.
Places
But I
we've been.
just feel like I'm a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a sense that maybe there have been people that you've ministered or you've pastored to, or that you have worked with, or that you have given solace to, and you've changed their lives in some
Yeah.
way, shape, or form. And they've come to you and told you that.
You are
Absolutely.
correct.
Yeah.
Well,
You are
then
correct.
there you go.
Absolutely.
So
So
That's
thank you.
another
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
So those are crowning.
Should have said that and not made it about me.
no, it's all good. It's all good.
No, yours was good. I wish,
All the answers are great because you made it
but
about him. It's okay. It's all good.
that's right.
But that's really an extraordinary thing. Well, ladies and
And you were
gentlemen,
so right to remember that. Those are those moments that
Yeah.
are
yeah,
Yes, we talked
precious when
the
people do come.
success
Very
stories.
few do come back and say
yeah,
thank you or that helped.
yeah.
But you just have to believe that you're helping.
Yes, you do. I'm going to show you a book one more time, everybody. It is Whole You Before Two. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find the book?
You very easily can get that on Amazon.com or Barnes& and Noble or other book retailers.
How lovely. Well, it
Mhm.
has been such a joy speaking to the both of you today. Usually I stop the interview and then we have a couple of chats afterwards, but that would be on the other platform and not this one. So when we say goodbye, it's going to be goodbye, and know that you'll get the links to this interview soon and you can do with it what you will. All right.
Right. Follow us.
Thank
Happy
you.
Florida. Happy Florida, guys.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Bye
Bye-bye now.
bye.
Bye now.